Hello, and welcome to another episode of my Stellaris Let's Play. This is Northstar. I hope you folks are well, taking care of each other and being kind to yourselves. I'm a bit low in energy, but I definitely need to do another video today. I desperately need to get my YouTube channel to where I can eventually make money. Things gonna be really tight. There's very tight margins in being able to survive on SSI without SSDI, which got screwed out of SSDI, but we'll add in the mid-90s. That makes it, by Newt Gingrich, makes certain jobs don't contribute to payroll tax, and those don't count towards disability work credits, which, I mean, it's not like I was paying attention to when I was young. I didn't even notice there was no payroll tax coming out of those jobs when I was a student. Especially when I was definitely seeing it come out at other times when I was over half-time. So when I dropped below half-time, payroll tax is being deducted. When I was above, it wasn't. Same jobs. It's freaking ridiculous. And it was only designed to screw over young people who spend considerable time in school and they get disabled soon after. Because that's how shitbags like Gingrich, that's how conservatives often work. They pick like individual little groups to pick off and screw while not making the system yet fail the majority of people, so that there won't be too much protest, frog in boiling water type situation. I know it's gonna upset some people who vote conservative, but I'm talking about the politicians. I'm calling them shitbags. Politicians suck no matter what side of the aisle you're on. But conservative ones are worse. That does not mean I'm a fan of the left wing, air quote, left ones in America. With a two-party system, both parties suck. To have decent politicians, you need to get rid of the two-party system. We need proportional representation, ranked choice voting, expansion of the House of Representatives, which is far too small. It's funny, there were battles over possibly making it even bigger when the country first got started, and back then it was like one House member after the first census, one House member per 30,000 Americans. Now it's one per 750 or 800,000 Americans. Like, we could have even had a ratio that was even more members than one per 30,000, and that would have been better. It's become too exclusive. Because there's so few members, it's easily corrupted by billionaires, and it doesn't work well with proportional representation with that such a small house. We need a house that's like, honestly, 10 times its current size with proportional representation. Then you'd see lots of small third parties that, you know, if you have 10 times the current membership, it's 75, 80,000 person per house member. So if you can get 250,000 votes in a state in the federal elections, then you can pick up like 2 or 3 seats in the House of Representatives, and that allows little third parties to actually get their feet on the ground. They can at least make, 75 or 80,000 get one seat. In some states, and that's averaging. Some states would be slightly smaller or larger representation ratios is still stepwise function. Because sometimes it would be more people per representative, because it wouldn't be till you get to another 80,000 that you add another member, so you may still have 150,000 people who member the House, which is still a lot of people. But, still like 5 times more members. That's only a state that has, no state has that few people. So no, it's not gonna be. You may have one. Let's see, I think there's like 1 million people in the least populous state. 70, 80,000. You may have like just shy of 14 seats or something for Wyoming, or 13 instead of 1 right now. Which it's like 1.4, but it always rounds down, so. yeah, anyways, that would allow actual real multi-party democracy because no one would worry about third parties spoiling the elections, and that would eventually allow third-party presidents to run, especially if you did ranked choice voting for the presidency. So, like the Green Party ran a candidate, somebody could put them as their first choice, but still put the Democrats as their second choice, so that they don't get victory of the Republicans when they would prefer a Democrat to the Republicans and would have otherwise just voted Democrat to avoid spoiling the election. This allows the Green Party to actually put their stances in debates, and not just the Greens, the Libertarians, Socialist parties. But yeah, we have a shitty system. Politicians suck. Newt Gingrich was a particular shitbag who did a lot of things. He's one of the reasons there's a physician shortage in the U.S. today. Which something very much affected me. I was trying to become a doctor, and it's much harder than it should be to become a doctor in the U.S. because of the residency shortage. Which there's a physician shortage now because there's a shortage in the pipeline upstream of becoming physicians. Specifically, there aren't enough medical residencies funded, and then medical schools don't increase their class sizes, even though they're free to increase them if they want. But then a lot of their graduates won't match with residencies, so they don't do it. In fact, they sometimes reduce their class sizes to focus on getting a higher percentage of their grads to match with residencies. So, yeah, there's a physician shortage, and there's a medical school seat. Essentially, not nearly enough seats for the number of pre-meds, and there's not enough residencies to produce enough doctors. And that makes it much harder and gives the advantage to rich people who always have a competitive advantage. Kids from rich families are going to have an advantage over those from lower and middle class ones. And I grew up poor, so I was at a disadvantage for a lot of reasons to do with wealth. And it creates an overall less egalitarian, more authoritarian system in the US, which is what we have. It's an authoritarian system. Oh yeah, I did look ahead at this stuff because I like to remove toast. I was testing something. Anyways, this just gives rare crystals to a deposit, so there's no reason not to do it. One remark on the surface, the asteroid has a hollow core lined with industrial valuable crystals, like a gigantic geode hung in the stars. With special instructions prepared by science officer Renata Ramirez, any future mining platform should be able to carefully harvest these crystals in the interior of the asteroid. This is just a flat amount of influence and allows renowned leaders to come available, I think, only after collect this. So I want to do as soon as possible. We have proven beyond any doubt that the galaxy is filled with life. Apart from the dominant species and nations, there are many others who traverse the stars. From time to time, exceptional individuals may arise, shake the foundations of galactic power. If we can harness their ambitions, these renowned leaders may be willing to join our cause. And there is a follow-up event to the robot thing. It doesn't get scaled anything, though, so I didn't lose anything by doing this early. Through diligent effort, we found a way to recharge the robot's power supply and scan its memory banks. Sadly, the machine has deteriorated so badly you cannot retrieve coherent information. I'm assuming robotics text doesn't change that. We will consider a follow-up study. Maybe there is a follow-up event later if I get a tech. And we may search for others of its kind. But the fate of this mechanical castaway must remain a mystery. I got a specimen. A derelict humanoid machine found floating in deep space. A few blurry images were extracted from its deteriorated memory banks. A wide vista in a trinary star system. A triangular spaceship. And a landscape welded of machine scrap. Unfortunately, no specific coordinates could be extrapolated from its metadata. But extra energy from jobs. Getting all these cool specimens, one more reason. I mean, I could get a machine uprising and switch to playing AI, but I'm pretty sure that's a total war that you can't make peace in. That would force me to destroy my previous empire. If I switch to playing as the rogue AI side of the civil war that result. And all my relics and specimens be lost. Better to switch, I think, to a vassal empire, or do letters marquee, steal all my specimens and relics from the previous empire, and then place that successor empire down the line. Devs really should change that. It should be if you conquer an empire, you get all the relics, all the specimens they had if the empire ceases to exist. I know that would make warfare more favorable. The devs could balance this by buffing peaceful approaches in other ways, though. It makes the game a little faster, so what? The game is infamously slow paced. It's just ridiculous to have relics disappear, like always be lost. Maybe you could have a stance where you have to invest resources to recover relics, so they risk being lost when you destroy a Grand Archive or something, or conquer an empire. But you should at least be able to guarantee if you put in resources that they won't be lost. It just strongly incentivizes like piracy builds where you attack an empire over and over to steal all their relics before you conquer them. Like the Letters of Marquee one. It's one of the more accessible ones. I think it's that, or Barbaric Despoilers, or Nihilistic Acquisition, or the piracy builds. The Letters of Marquee is a civic one, so you don't need to waste an Ascension perk and you can swap out of it later. I don't think there was a civic that you can swap into that does piracy. Nope. Barbaric can't be swapped. That's what I thought. Hyperlane specialty just makes physics always faster. Interesting. Not doing this yet, but decentralized R&D. Just curious. Yeah, so eventually, real late game, you might do decentralized R&D and maybe materials, because it also makes civilians produce some research. Stack a ton of civilians and go workers cooperatives, which, well, allows worker ownership trade stand, which produces food, energy, and minerals from trade. So you can feed an unlimited number of civilians that way who produce some trade value. You may need to use some zombie pops from employment to really make it work, which you can only get when you're not egalitarian, but or there's some things that reduce pop-up keys, some traits like seasonal dormancy for unemployed pops. I assume that means civilians too. So get the different genetic ascensions of their advanced authorities. Cloning is just not as good as mutation, because mutation gets up to 200% habitability and up to 25% extra job efficiency, which just multiplies. It's not a multiplier on output. It's not like one of these. It's like having 25%. It's here. 25% more pops working a job. So that civilians apparently have job efficiency, which I noticed first for sure with this. Job efficiency for civilians plus 10% from social welfare. So yeah, mutation, and that you can get extra 25% on job efficiency civilians, which are running social welfare. Or maybe if the egalitarian things do the same, you might go from 1.1 to 1.35 efficiency multipliers, basically. There's like almost no other ones that affect civilians. You do cloning, you can have a lot more civilians, but it only ends up being about 50% more civilians in the end, or 50% more pop growth, and with Empire pop growth scaling, it'll be less and less cost effective to keep making more pops anyways, and you need a lot of clone vats, which take up build slots. You'll actually get more trade value per pop, because clone vats will, with cloning authorities, give extra trade value multiplier, but you get less of everything else in the civilians. and your pops won't be as happy because you want as much stability or possibly happiness. The Megacore Mutation Authority gives happiness. Dictatorship one gives stability. But anyways, the Megacore one also gives you extra uni. So you'll actually get more per civilian. Since civilians spend, you're like in employership, they spend about half their production just supporting themselves. That the math just works out to favor mutation because ultimately your pops will drive your empire size. If you're doing research, like having more pops doesn't mean faster research at that point because your extra empire size just makes techs more expensive. And mutation is much better for standard jobs because cloning won't get any bonuses to those outputs really, except for trader jobs. Mutation Authority can have like better researchers, better metallurgists, better artisans, miners, all that, farmers. So it's just mutation is stronger. You don't really do cloning if you're like doing the Clone Army origin. Evolutionary Predators also has some really good authorities for mutation. Then, if I remember, it's not actually better for Megacore. But if you're not going to go Megacore, I forget if they even have Megacore authority. But if they're a lot diff going Megacore, but their other, like their Imperial one, and they actually have better mutation advanced authorities than normal empires. It's interesting to know Evolutionary Predators is cool, but Knights can buff the homeworld here. Anyways, so let's go, because I've been talking for way too long. I mean, I do videos where I just talk stuff. Sometimes. Politics videos mostly, though. I probably should do some just gaming talks where I talk about game balance and game features and my thoughts on that. Different sort of people watch that, obviously, in my politics videos, but this is not a talk video. It's a gameplay video. Primal calling. Turn on volume a little. I don't need this debris stuff. So let's see. I got a crystal, a specimen, and some influence. Yeah, and I don't have any more toasts annoying me. There's a mineral cluster, which I'm almost certain gets some skill research. I don't want to. What's this pause stuff, anyways? I need to play faster here. This is about to next month. I'll enable these because I'll be doing the automation. Pretty sure 1.8. Pretty sure 3.6 energy upkeep will be paid for by this will enable 50 more automated jobs, which would be around 6 energy, it's telling me. It's definitely profitable to enable this. And this let's see. No, this would only give around 0.6 energy. I think I probably actually shouldn't enable the energy grid until I have some actual organic pops working. I don't know, because this also, I'll have 100 automated jobs. So that'd be 1.2 energy. For 1.8 upkeep. Yeah, still not worth it. The energy grid will need a little more labor before I activate it, apparently. It's not worth its own upkeep otherwise. It's solely to control crime that I have disabled squires. I mean, technicians to have more squires. So many situations so bad in anger. It's not as bad as it once was, but I'm barely staying below the 10% crime threshold. almost. Still no civilians. Hesek. Robot to be some rattle to isn't. At least they're cheap. Resettle. Close on resistance is frugal. Galactic archivism. And then planetary unification to take advantage of resistance is frugal armies, and our defense armies give you unity. A lot more. Also, I have a lot more unity. Probably nimble soldier jobs to help unify my planets. I mean, it actually makes some sense that, you know, to absorb the last holdout nations, I would need some military force. There's a roleplay value to it. I want to increase the number of enforcers in Hesek soon. I think some more just grew. Some more pops. That'll probably take a while. Then I'll translate more enforcers now. Here. Consider increasing that later.
System survey concluded.
Alright. Here, also nothing more to build. Alright. Enable that. Where's the automation? I'm not seeing any. I wonder, maybe this doesn't cost upkeep because it's not freaking working in the reactor districts. Shoot. That appears to be the problem. Yeah, that's a bug. I should report that, but I'm not going to roll with that. I guess I'm canceling the automation building. There's no reason to have it on. To build it if it doesn't create any automated workforce, because the stupid game devs forgot to apply it to reactor districts and habitats. It shouldn't even be buildable if it does nothing. It doesn't even apply to the voltaic jobs. It's just annoying. Cancel. I mean, I guess I'll eventually just when I need technician jobs. This voltaic production arm was already minerals wasted. I won't need those for a long time though. That is incredibly annoying. Definitely worthy of a bug report. There's the humanoid robot again. This does create the opportunity to take care of stuff I missed last time. If anything. What? I don't want to increase the number of enforcers. The thing actually. Yep. It's not worth it, even with planetary unification, I'm pretty sure, because these pops could actually be doing useful stuff elsewhere instead. Alright, so Anchor is fully developed. Hesuk is fully developed. It's just a synth to left develop. Could do another orders dements, but that's always I have other uses for. Alright. Oh, I could add another starbase. Oops, missed that before. Starbase upgrade. Something I did miss. We can go back and fix. Look for oversights. Probably here. That's fine. That's not quite perfect. Alright. Definitely want to be doubling back like that. I think I like to go this way. I think there's probably closer to empires. Who knows? Never found anomalies in astral scars. Do this. Roleplay toxic world. It's toxic god. Then I'll go there. So I change that mapping. Not gonna bother with the Interstellar Recruitment Office yet. Increases the chance of renowned leaders. Your experience gain. Someday I'll do it. Probably once I get Starholds. Which guaranteed research option after Federation Code. Fleets are returning. Interesting to see how this affects pop growth. Pretty sure I missed the effect before. Alright, goes from 1.92 to 0.09 pop growth. That will show you resonance. Not quite worthwhile. Maybe 100 energy for 9 pops a month though. Yeah, not cost effective yet. But it will be when it adds more growth, when there's more people on this planet. That's what's missing, is enough pops. Make it pre-building, because I will have use for it later. Dangerous wildlife, make a tech for it. Selling industries, which bring me back in the black consumer goods. And I guess I follow that with another luxury residence and probably another civilian industry.
System survey concluded.
I don't think I found an anomaly last time. I missed one by going back. That stupid bug with automation building doing nothing on anchor. Someday, it's to be replaced with a specialized lab, probably engineering one. It's a temple. First, you need to bring amenities under control. Anchor. In the black for amenities. Makes sense. Oh, I finished this system. Oop. Investigating anomaly. It's meticulous. After I finish this anomaly, I can swap researchers. There.
Construction completed.
Fully develop starbase. Or food surplus. About to finish galactic archivism. These guys would be less upset once more energy stored. Trying to work towards getting them representation in the council. Need more leaders, so there's more chance of actually having one that want to put on the council. Oh, that's the way passives that are currently up for hire. So I want this guy to level up. Probably recruit extra commanders if... I might want to do one more because it slows down XP gain, but more people gain experience passively will actually have higher level counselors in the long run. After this guy levels up. Possibly. Nah, I probably want these two to both get their veteran traits first. I see a pacifist, maybe. Gilded Cage. That's from this anomaly. Reason to have a non-meticulous person here. Be a while to this surveying. Alright. Faster. It's time to start picking up the pace a little bit. I know I've been too slow, especially with how much time I spent talking in this video.
Research concluded.
I'll be found the consumer goods. Technology research, galactic archivism, the history of a galaxy, or its proper preservation in order to learn from those who came before us. An archive on the grandest scale would fit such a purpose. It's more like a museum, but yeah, archives are important too. I already have an archive specialization on Hesek and Anchor. Plenty of archives. Gene tailoring. This will unlock. Well, self-modification. Pops can spontaneously modify themselves, and there's an event chain. And Genetic healthcare. Never understood the purpose of this. Oh, organic pop-up menus usage. Minus 10%. So in a really big world, it might be worth it. Slightly better healthcare. You have lots of exotic gases. Definitely not worthwhile now. Gene tailoring? That's cool. That's quite cool. Unless it was gonna change, well, the default. I don't want to be spending the research points right now, but I could create a new template that's the default. An auto mod, which doesn't cost tech. Some pops each month into it with better traits, and then keep switching different default templates to somewhat improve my pop output. It's useful eventually. But I think it's a little early for that, and it'd be better when planets are more specialized. I can just clearly say, okay, pops this traits, go to this world, and so forth. Goes to that, go to that. Let's just finish planetary unification for now. Soldiers, you have to work the jobs for a couple months to get the... I think you get like 6 months of uni from tech. It's not much. So... 9 unity. It's like 18 value for a couple months of not getting real yields. Oh, I might not want to even work soldier jobs. But... whatever. These pops have finished demoting. If I get to 100 squires again, a defense army here. I'm always seeing 5% extra unit a month, so I just want to do planetary unification soon. Past time for that. I should see what I roll, and that will decide what to do next. So reroll the techs. I don't think any of these were. Definitely don't want this. Don't want that. Yeah, only thing I could possibly do is possibilize gene tailoring. Let's grab planetary unification. It also gave me the uni to finish out my consecrated worlds modifier. We consecrate New Jerusalem here until it becomes a holy world instead of venerated one. The toxic planet.
Construction completed.
No commentary there on how the real Jerusalem's become a hotbed of hatred. Or is there? I doubt there's any bias towards toxic worlds getting that name in the game. Probably just random. It's, you know, while there's a lot of intolerance, there's some great people there too. I mean, there's like NGOs and stuff who try and encourage people to live in peace, but well, the Nereus is a mess. There's so much hatred and fear. Strange readings. This planet emits strange magnetic waves, quite unlike anything we've seen so far, almost as if trying to communicate with us. Though logical investigate this unusual phenomenon, we may just have encountered an extraordinary example of life on a planetary scale. Doubtful. Press X to doubt. The scientists that probably want to do it is this. Frick, it's only gonna. I'll just assign. Start on it. a while. Eventually. This explorer can be the one slightly higher now on my discovery chance. Save, it's still a cool event. But I'm not trying to both sides that. I mean, it's not both sides. The fact is that you have politicians, governments, yeah, sure, being shitty, but it's particularly the one that came in and built an ethno-state and committed ethnic cleansing in 1948. Has a name that starts with an N-A. Event, I'm sure YouTube would try and censor me and give me fewer viewers if I spell that word out, because very much in bed with the government that did that. The fact is, and this is something that Albert Einstein famously condemned, so it's been known that cruelty, it's one side that's primarily driving hate, which is not to say that it doesn't spur hatred from the victims of it, which becomes self-perpetuating, not even always provoked by particular recent events. Because, you know, people have a long memory and they remember things that were done to them 50, 40, 30 years ago, even if nothing's being done to them today. And they're rightfully angry about past crimes done to them. It takes a long time to heal the wounds of the past. And it's not help when new insults are being added to those injuries. Peace is difficult. Worth it, but difficult. Because it often requires past victims to forgive, but also victimizers to be punished, which groups are victimizers in the first place because they have power on their side. It's hard to punish the powerful, so it often requires a change in the power relationships and a more equitable distribution of power where past victims can stand up for themselves when they couldn't before. Can stop their own persecution, but then also have to forgive. Too often, past victims become new victimizers otherwise. It's common over and over throughout the history of, well, the entire planet. All humanity. For the victim to become the victimizer rather than forgiving and forgetting. I mean, there's even lessons in our own lives. I personally staying with family member, it was an abusive situation. At the end, I lost my temper with the person, but I don't think that somehow I was justifying becoming a victimizer in that moment. Just I wasn't trying to seek revenge. It was more of a lost temper snapping and pushed too far. But I know, you know, it's wrong. It doesn't matter what was done to you. You don't get to do something to someone else. I mean, whether it's like words or anything, you best to forgive and forget. Or we're all human, and sometimes we will misstep. The difference between some group of people that tries to forgive and forget, and maybe sometimes fails, and one that just doesn't do it all. That's the difference between peace and, you know, conflict.
Construction completed.
All right. Let's do another hydroponics bay. Lots of food. Lots and lots of food. Resistance is frugal. In fact, so much food from hydroponics. I'm considering whether I want to close an ag district on Hessick. It'll save me 8 minus 30%, so save me 5.6 energy. If I don't need the farmer jobs, I can resell pops here. Take a little while from demote to civilians, and I'll be adding more jobs in this. And there's a weird smell here. Hold on.